What's going on, y'all? What's going on? It's your boy Hawk. Back, I know it's been about a month or so since I've dropped a video, but I've just been so busy working on other projects, helping out my queen as Hawke'S with her business and her podcast. Still just getting settled back in to Philly. We spent the end of 2023 out in the Midwest, out in Illinois, visiting family and friends. We was out there for about 2 weeks from right before Christmas through January 5th. So we've been back now about 2 weeks. So had to get caught up on some things, and I'll be providing more content for y'all within the next few days. Shout out to all my supporters that's been hitting me up like, Hawk, where you going? Drop some more videos. I've been feeding. Yeah, I know. And I've been working on different topics, like what videos I'm going to put out there for y'all. I see in the XJW community, a lot of the topic now is about the different rule changes, and a lot of people think that the shunning and the disfellowship and that whole ordeal, a lot of people think that's going to be the next change amongst the J-Dub organization. I mean, we never know. Like I said, I could see it, but then it's like, on the other hand, that's how the J-Dubs hold their power over, their flock. So we shall see. Matter of fact, my most recent video was pertaining to the rule changes. The brothers are allowed to have their beards and shit now, and I was discussing what's next, and the whole shunning and disfellowship and ordeal was discussed in that last video I did, which was, ironically, was right before we hit the road. So I know a lot of y'all love my stories, and y'all want to hear more about my J-Dub heydays and my family and friends that I dealt with during that time. And trust me, I have plenty of content that'll be coming. Just bear with me. I'm working on other things. Like I said, I serve as Hawke'S, which is Hawk Talk for manager for my queen, for her business, her podcast. Matter of fact, she's preparing for a show tonight, and I'll put the link to Queenie's covering it and Divine Times. I'll put all of that in the comment section. So make sure y'all tune in and subscribe to my queen, because she's entertaining as well. She be talking about some hot topics. So make sure y'all support the queen. But anyway, also shout out to all my Illinois peoples, my Hawkins fam, and all of our supporters out there. Had a great time the couple of weeks we was out there. We actually stayed outside of Chicago because we have a timeshare with the Holiday Inn Vacation Club, one of our timeshares. So we was actually out there in Sheridan, Illinois, which is about maybe an hour and some change from Chicago, but we was in Chicago almost every other day. We was out there about 2 weeks. We went to Chicago quite a few times. Went to a couple Bulls games out there, of course. Just so happened that my Sixers was in town on Queenie's birthday, so we went out there to the United Center for that game. Sucks my Sixers didn't win, but had a great time nonetheless. Winged up with some other content creators. Had a great time out there. Even cast a spell on a demon while we was out there, and I'm about to get into this story. So this was it was the first night, our first full day, because we didn't get into Illinois till like 5 or 6 o'clock Wednesday morning. We left Philadelphia Tuesday at about 11:30 a.m. You know, we're driving. It's a 12-hour drive in itself. But, you know, we stopped. We love road trips. We do road trips quite often. So we always make an adventure out of it. So we stopped a few times. Of course, you got to stop to gas up. If you had to use the bathroom or stretch or whatever. So we took our time. So we got into Illinois. It was probably about 6 a.m. So, you know, we got there. We relaxed a little bit, then finally went to bed. And we slept most of the next day. We didn't even get up till maybe 6, 7 o'clock that night. You know, went showered, got dressed, went out to eat. And then we hit the liquor store because we had a New Year's Eve party. It was actually a New Year's Eve / birthday party for Queene at the timeshare. So we went to the liquor store and bought a bunch of stuff for the party. Then we went and hit the market. So we were on our way to the market. And, you know, I'm feeling good or whatever. I got the Sixers game on in the car on NBA radio. Like, we just picked up a win. I'm like, all right, bet. And I knew we was going to Chicago the next day for a game. So we get pulled over. Remind you, we're in this little small ass township called Morris. And by the way, a big fuck you to the Morris, Illinois Police Department. You know, because y'all got some real cockroaches working in y'all department. But anyway, you know, this was just a case of DWB, driving while black. Plus, I have out-of-state plates, PA tags. So I had noticed we was driving down the strip. And I had noticed the car, but it was a black car and it's dark, so you couldn't really tell whether it was the cops or not. Like, you just thinking it's just a car behind you. So as we pull up to the light, that's when the cop put his lights on or whatever. And I'm like, here we go with this bullshit. And I already know we're in a small township. There's no activity going on out here. So then it's around the holidays. So they're going to be pulling people over trying to get people on DUIs and all types of bullshit. So he comes up to the car and, you know, talk about I was swerving or whatever. First of all, I know that's bullshit because I don't swerve when I drive in. I wouldn't be driving under the influence anyway. So, you know, he's trying to go on and on, talking about, oh, you hit something back there, whatever, just making up shit. And you could tell, for one, you knew he was an idiot. And two, you could tell he was just trying to get a case. Yeah, you could tell he was trying to just get a case. He was just making up shit. So I give him my paperwork. He goes to check or whatever. Comes back, everything's good. Then he talking about, I spilled alcohol on your breath. I'm gonna need you to step out the car. I said, no, I'm not stepping out the car and I don't drink. So you can miss me with all of that. like I know my rights, and you're not going to hem me up like I'm just some casualty or something. And Queenie's right there. She starts recording. He gets, oh man, you can't be recording me. Like, yeah, I can. This is for our safety as well as yours. So, he ain't like that. He thought he had an easy mark. So he starts talking about, well, I'm going to call for backup and all that. Okay, well, then we're going to call our lawyer. How about that? He starts stuttering and stammering and keeps going on. I smell alcohol in your breath, and plus you're coming from the liquor store. I said, yeah, because we're having a party, Einstein, but I don't drink. I said, my wife drinks, but clearly she's the passenger. I kept telling them I don't drink. So why do I smell alcohol in your breath? I said, I did just use mouthwash. Maybe you should try it sometime. So long story short, he realized that there wasn't no easy marks over here. He didn't have me on nothing. It was just so, he was so pressed to meet his quota that it was really more laughable than upsetting. Because I told people at the end, and I'm like, man, I know you feel fucked up about that, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, it was drawn in a way because I know he pulled me over because I'm black and I have out-of-state tags, but it just was more that he was more pressed than anything because, there's no activity out there. He probably was on the verge of being fired. Like, you need to get your numbers up or whatever. He wasn't meeting his quota. So his job was on the line. He had desperation written all over him. He was a clown. But then when he realized that I wasn't no easy mark, I got on my Sixer beanie. He starts talking about the Sixers and that Embiid, he's a hell of a player, and you think he's gonna win another MVP? And I said, man, officer, you have a nice night. He extended his hand and shook my hand. I just gave him a little fist bump and drove off. But it was still, I'm like, man, that's what I get for fucking around in those little townships after dark anyway. But the Queen, she had it on record. Everything, like, shit didn't go out of line. But what it did make me realize was some of those unfortunate brothers that might have been on the wrong side of that, they would have been lucky to have had an incident like I had where they was able to drive away with their lives. But to step out the car for what? I know my rights. No, I haven't been drinking. You start talking about getting your lawyer and shit. And I have a couple of lawyers, so it wasn't like, I was just bluffing. I was like, I'd call a couple of them right now if you like. Like, they don't want to hear that. And you could really tell he didn't want no smoke. He just was pressed, to get his quotas up. But otherwise than that, it was a great trip. Shout out to the city of Chicago. Met some Hawke'S fam for the first time again. Shout out to them. Our people's kept clowning us though, like, why y'all so far away? Y'all staying out in these bubble fuck the middle of nowhere. Listen, we can't help where the timeshare is located, but we was in Chicago most of the time we was out there. So Queenie's co-host from Divine Times, we linked up with her a few times, had a great time. Gifted her with a couple of 6-packs of Canada Dry ginger ale. That's the best. So, like, again, I'm going to post a link to their show in the comments. Make sure y'all tune in and check them out tonight for the hot seat. So, you know, I mean, that'd be plenty of fun. But anyway, yeah, what else? It's like we're already 21 days or 20 days into the new calendar year. Like, time just be going by like that. Like I said, Philly got hit with a little snowstorm. We got a few inches over the past couple of days. So I've just been chilling out, working on some projects. Figured I'd drop like a video since it's been a little minute. Well, let's see. Yeah, meanwhile with the the XJ Dubs, and because I've been seeing them talking about that a lot, about, oh, maybe they'll stop shunning. And I could tell a lot of them, they really hope that that goes into effect because they so badly want to talk to their loved ones again. Me personally, it don't matter to me anyway, because if they are to change the rules, and any of my J-Dub peeps come reaching out to me, I'm going to be like, nah. Like I said, I'm not going to act to them how they would have acted to me had I tried to reach out, but we're not building no bond or nothing like that, because you're only reaching out to me because your leader said so, that all of a sudden it's okay now to do so. So it wouldn't be genuine anyway. You just would only be reaching out because you've been given the okay. Because people didn't ask me, they was like, what would you do with, say, your mom, sister, and other J-Dub associates tried to reach out? I'd be like, I might chop it up with them for a little bit, like, how you been over these past 15 years, whatever. Maybe brief them on what's been going on with me, tell them of my accomplishments or my different endeavors or whatever. But as far as building a relationship, hanging out, and nah. Because you wouldn't be reaching out to me if the governing body didn't give y'all the green light. Now, if they was just to reach out on their own will, and that's a different story. And then, to me, it's like, what's the point of reaching out and us rebuilding any type of bond or anything if you're still going to be in that cult anyway? You know, like, you're still part of the situation that I got away from and wanted nothing to do with. So anyway, stay tuned. I'm going to have more content coming. This is your boy Hawk with a little brief Hawks Talk and Squawk. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hawk out.